The carbon fiber crown of your driver still gleams like the day you paid for it, but something has gone missing that no polish will ever bring back. That something is roughly 20 yards of carry, and it started disappearing the season you turned 60. Here's the contradiction you don't want to hear. Your driver feels right, sounds right, and still launches off the face with that familiar crack you trust completely. Yet the ball is dying in the air, floating short, leaking weakly right, and you've been quietly blaming your body when the real culprit is sitting there in your hands. Feel is the biggest liar in golf, and it has been lying to you since your swing speed dropped. The crisp click you love, the solid sensation you chase every round, none of it tells you what your launch angle and spin rate actually are. That is the gap we are going to close, and the answer is not a new driver. The promise here is simple. By the time we finish, you will understand exactly why your hands and ears have been deceiving you, how confirmation bias keeps rewriting your memory of every round, and why one session with a launch monitor does more for your distance than another $300 of new equipment ever could. You will also see the quiet financial leak that comes with trusting feel over data, because golfers who trust their senses buy reshafts, new heads, and miracle fixes on feel alone, and every one of those purchases is engineered to feel right in the store while playing short on the course. That driver you love was likely fitted for a swing that no longer exists. The shaft flex, the loft, the weight distribution, they were all tuned for a club head speed that has slipped away 10 or 15 miles per hour without you noticing. The real question is whether your driver was built for the swing you have today or the swing you had a decade ago. Let's find out, because the answer explains every short drive you have hit since that birthday. Notice how nobody talks about this in the fitting bay. The salesperson hands you the latest head. You take 3 swings, the ball jumps off the face, and everyone nods approvingly. But nobody mentions that the launch monitor is set to show you the best possible number, the one that makes the purchase feel inevitable. The fitting bay is not a neutral measurement, it is a sales script hiding inside a launch monitor. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing what the golf industry would rather leave off the screen, because we are just getting to the part where the numbers stop flattering you. In the comments, type "dead money." What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus, the vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. The truth about that monitor is uncomfortable. It measures your current swing, yes, but it also flatters your ego, presenting a total distance that assumes perfect conditions every single time. You walk out of there feeling like a power hitter, and then you get to the first tee on a cool morning with a slight breeze, and that carry number shrinks by 20 yards before you even finish your backswing. If you have ever stood on the tee, watched your drive land well short of where it used to, and felt that quiet pinch of embarrassment as your playing partners waited for you, you know exactly what this feels like. That pinch is not age. That pinch is a shaft that does not match your tempo anymore, a loft that launches the ball too high into the wind, a head that spins the ball like a top. Here is the part that hurts. The driver you are holding was engineered to produce that solid feel on purpose, because feel is what sells. The acoustics of the head, the weight placement, the thin face that flexes just enough to give you that satisfying click, all of it is designed to convince you the club is working perfectly. But the ball does not care about your feel. The ball cares about launch angle, spin rate, and club head speed, the 3 numbers that determine how far it actually travels through the air. And when those 3 numbers drift out of alignment with the shaft you are swinging, the ball dies, no matter how good the impact sounds. The launch monitor in that store will happily show you a club head speed of 90 miles per hour with a smile, but it will not tell you that the shaft in your current driver was built for 105. That mismatch means the shaft is too stiff for your swing tempo, so it does not load properly, and you lose the whip that creates distance. You compensate without realizing it. You swing harder, which throws off your timing. You try to hit up on the ball, which changes your angle of attack. You change your entire mechanics to fit a club that was never built for your body, and every round you practice the wrong swing, making the problem worse. The financial leak runs parallel to the physical one. Every time you miss that distance, you convince yourself the equipment is outdated, so you buy a new driver, or a new shaft, or a new fitting session. The cycle repeats because nobody ever tells you the real issue is that your speed changed, not your skill. That cycle never ends because no one tells you the real issue is that your speed changed, not your skill. And that silence is exactly what keeps you buying clubs you do not need. If you are tired of paying for that silence, subscribe so we can keep exposing the leaks before they drain another round out of your wallet. In the comments, write dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. Think about the annual cost for a moment. A mid-range driver costs hundreds of dollars, a premium shaft costs more, and a fitting session costs enough to make you wince. Multiply that over the years since you turned 60, and you are looking at a significant sum spent on clubs that never address the actual problem. The golf industry knows this. They know that golfers over 50 are their most loyal customers, the ones with disposable income and a desperate hope that the next purchase will bring back the distance of their 40s. So they keep designing clubs that feel right, knowing you will keep buying them. But the data from any launch monitor tells a different story. The older golfers who gain the most distance back are not the ones who buy the newest head. They are the ones who get fitted for their current swing speed, who accept that they do not swing like they used to, and who choose shafts and lofts that maximize efficiency at that speed. When you see a golfer in his 70s bombing it past you, he is not stronger than you. He has simply stopped fighting his own club. His driver is lighter, his shaft is softer, his loft is higher, and his ball flight is a beautiful soaring draw that carries forever because the equipment finally matches the engine. You have been fighting the wrong battle. Every practice session where you swing harder to force the distance, every round where you walk off the tee frustrated and confused, every dollar you spend on a new head hoping it will fix what the old head could not. The battle was never effort. The battle was alignment. The system is beautifully designed to keep you in this loop. The marketing department, the fitting bays, the pro shop displays, they all reinforce the same message. Buy something new and you will hit it further. But that message serves the industry, not your game. So what do you actually do about it? You stop listening to your hands and start listening to the numbers. Find a launch monitor, even if it is in the back of a big box store, and check your actual club head speed, your launch angle, and your spin rate on the driver you already own. If your spin rate is too high, look for a lower loft or a different shaft that brings it down. If your launch angle is too low, consider a lighter shaft that lets you swing faster. The fix is rarely a new head. The fix is almost always a shaft that matches your current tempo and a loft that fits your current speed. And here is the beautiful part. When you finally get that alignment right, you will feel something you have not felt in years. Not the fake click of a marketing trick, but the genuine compression of a ball hit exactly on the sweet spot of a club built for you. That feeling, that real and earned feeling, is worth more than all the polished heads in the pro shop. Because it comes with the knowledge that you finally stopped letting the industry tell you what you need and started trusting what the numbers say about your own game. The moment you make that shift, the anxiety dissolves. You stop checking your wallet after every purchase. You stop second-guessing your equipment on every tee box. You simply play, and you trust that the club in your hands is working with you, not against you. That night, standing in your garage, you pick up your driver and run your hand along its length. The carbon fiber still gleams, the weight still feels balanced, but now you know what it is really telling you. And for the first time in years, you feel the quiet satisfaction of understanding the game a little better than the people trying to sell it to you. The next time someone at the club asks you why your drives are suddenly carrying further, you will know the answer isn't a secret tip or a lucky week. It is the quiet confidence of a golfer who finally looked at the actual numbers instead of chasing a feeling. That quiet confidence is the whole reason this channel exists, so you're never the one in the clubhouse quietly overpaying for a story instead of a fit. Subscribe and keep the numbers coming, because the next episode goes deeper into where launch data and feel finally agree. In the comments, write Dead Money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. And when that golfer asks where you got fitted or what shaft you switched to, you will realize you have become exactly the person you wanted to be. The one other players come to for advice, not because you bought the newest equipment, but because you understood the one simple truth the industry hopes you never learn. That the feel of a perfect swing and the reality of a perfect launch are 2 completely different things, and the distance you lost was never a sign of age. It was a sign of mismatched equipment, a silent leak in both your scorecard and your wallet that you finally had the tools to find and the wisdom to stop. The next time you hear that familiar crack and watch the ball float short, you will not feel that old pinch of frustration anymore. Instead, you will know exactly what to check, and that knowledge changes the entire experience of the game. You will stand on the tee with the same driver, the same hands, the same swing you have had for years, and you will finally understand why it behaves the way it does. The mystery is gone, and in its place is something far more valuable. Clarity. Every golfer at your club is chasing the same thing you were chasing, that perfect feeling that never quite translates to the scorecard. You have seen the other side of it now, the side where feel and data finally line up, and there is no going back once you have that. The industry will keep selling the same promise, the newest head with the same hidden mismatch, and there will always be golfers willing to believe it. That is not your problem anymore. Your problem is now just golf, the simple joy of a well-struck ball that flies the way you intended. So, the next time you step onto the first tee, take a breath and trust what you now know. Not the marketing, not the feel, not the old habits, but the quiet certainty that your equipment finally works as hard as you do. That is the real win. The 20 yards were never lost to age. They were lost to a mismatch that was hidden in plain sight, and now that you see it, it can never steal from you again.